Welcome to the International Art Doll Registry podcast, as we so often call it, the IADR. This discussion today is what we're going to be talking about is eBay. And with me to talk about it is Bambi. So
Hey,
Bambi,
everybody.
so Bambi, do you sell on eBay?
Well, I do sell on eBay. I started way back when, before I ever started any kind of artwork, just selling stuff on eBay. My husband's always collected comic books, things. So I did a lot of trading and selling back and forth on eBay. And then when I started making stuff, I started using it more. But by then, Etsy had come along. I found for most of what I make, my dragons, any small things like jewelry, journals, all of those kind of things, they do better on a platform like Etsy. But for my larger pieces, my dolls, obviously are more unique. Each one is individual. Obviously, have a much higher price value. I do like to put those up on eBay because I tend to get a little more traction. And also, I like to allow bidding, which you don't really get on Etsy. So, and I found sometimes for bidding, I can usually a lot of times get a little bit more than I might have gotten in the first place.
That's good to know. Because to be
Mhm.
honest, I too am on eBay, but I only did it as an extension of my, as they call it, mortar and brick shop that I had as a doll shop. So I'm still selling my doll supplies, and I hadn't quite jumped into doing my dolls
Mm.
yet on there. But one thing in talking with other people, that's where apparently in the US, eBay has a special category for the one of a kind art doll section. So that's what I wanted to explore a little bit more and
Yeah.
see if that gives us exposure. Because I do know for myself, as frustrating as it is, I have sold more product on eBay than I have off my own website, even though I have my own online shop, because I think it just
Yes.
more traffic. So I mean that's
Yes, certainly I have my own website, but I don't get a lot of traffic there. Just people who I talk to individually might go there, but most of what I sell is on the larger platforms, definitely.
well, and that's one reason why I have considered eBay because it's the one thing that doesn't cost us. And if it gives us quote free advertising because people are now starting to find us in searches, it's worth it. So as much
Yes. Yes, and there's a longevity to eBay. I mean, I remember using eBay long before I used Amazon even. So eBay's been around for a while and a lot of people trust it and certainly like anything else people have bad experiences, but I think overall people trust eBay pretty much. So yeah, you get a lot of traffic there.
I just thought I'd come up with a couple of the common questions that people seem to be asking about eBay. Because even just this week, I had somebody that's be looking forward to hearing about our podcast because she was wanting to know more about eBay. So one of the first questions that comes up is how much does it cost to sell on eBay?
Yeah, so you get a lot free first, which I really like that because on some other platforms you have to pay whether you're selling anything or not. And for eBay, you can list a lot of things before you actually have to start paying. They get a little bit of a commission, I think, on your actual sales, but just for the listings, there's no charge there.
Yeah, it's basically you can list up to 250 listings per month, which is, I mean, that's a lot for your store.
That's a
Um,
lot. That's a lot. Now, if I was selling earrings, that's a different story.
mm,
But, I might put one doll or one statue up in a month. So from that price, it's a little bit more lucrative.
exactly. And to only pay like 35 cents for any listing afterwards. I mean, crimes, what kind
Yeah.
of platform can you even get on to for that? So,
Yes.
so you talk about it requires a fee just to even list on there. And
Oh,
then,
yes, yes, yes. And they
and I
recharge
think,
you if you keep it up there.
yeah, and then I think they have a pretty high rate of your commission of your sale, correct?
Yes, yes, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah, because that's what I was surprised here that for eBay, there's no cost if it doesn't sell. So you really risk nothing for putting it out there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
apparently there's only like 10 to 15% of the value of what you sell is what goes back to eBay. So I mean, I don't think there's too many other platforms that really are that low.
No, certainly not. None of them. And now that you can have your own store and everything, set up your own store in eBay, It's really user friendly. Combine that with the low cost of making a listing. It's a wonderful place for people to start when you are first starting to sell online because you can really learn a lot about how to maneuver the platform. The other great thing about eBay is you can put something up for this is how much it costs, and you can pay for it right now and buy it, or you can put it up for auction. So let's say you do make something smaller like jewelry. You can put, you can list all of your earrings and, how much they are, and you pick out which ones you want and you pay $20 and you get your earrings right there. Or if you have a statue of a mermaid that you've worked on for 2 months and you put it up there, you can start out with with a minimum bid of, let's just say $100, but let's say you have a reserve of $250, then you're not under obligation to sell if it doesn't meet the reserve. But you're at least going to get a certain amount of clientele based on the minimum bid. So there's a lot of different strategies that you can use with eBay that you can't really use with any of the other platforms.
That's a good point to bring up because, yeah, I tend to always forget the bid part.
Comes to our dolls, they are the most unique thing. I mean, I sell, one of my biggest sellers in my studio are journal covers, and they're all different. But when we're talking about our dolls, they're so much more unique. There's so much more detail and craftsmanship and stuff in there that sometimes it's really nice to, if you can get a bidding war going on, it really helps to jack the price up a lot. Of course, that helps to boost the sales of all of your inventory as well as the value. The higher are willing to pay for your doll, the more valuable all your other dolls are going to be.
Oh, that's very, very true. Very true. And as
Hmm.
you said, you can't pay for that kind of advertising. So
No.
one of the things that was brought up to make sure that you do pay attention to is that when you do sell on eBay, you are responsible for complying with all the tax laws. So if you're
Yeah.
selling to a buyer outside the U.S., you should inform them about the potential import charges that they also need to pay when they receive their items. And this is one thing that Frederica Furio, I always have a hard time with her name, brought up when asked about eBay, which, by the way, she lives in Italy and she does sell her dolls there, that she shared this comment with me on that. Um, so Frederica said eBay is a great site to sell dolls and other items. You can also choose to sponsor the advertising and or share it on social media. The only really important thing to know is that the taxes have a huge impact, and what remains from the sale is much lower than expected. eBay takes about 27% of the gross proceed, including shipping, which is not a profit for us, which is interesting because I wonder if
Hmm.
that 27% is the difference between being out of the country versus selling within the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you have to do the math on how much you want to get and how the taxes pay. So for the rest, nothing to say. The customer service is also excellent and fast. So like I said, her input was definitely where she's enjoying and selling her dolls out on there. So
Yeah. I don't know really much about that because I don't either sell or shop internationally. It's just too much to have to think about. With the shipping is always outrageous. The price of shipping, the length of time it takes for shipping. Plus, then when you start trying to talk about taxes in all different countries and that sort of thing, it's too
well,
much
I'm
for me.
surprised too because see, I have an issue with what is also acceptable for being imported into another country. So
Yeah,
because like over in the UK, they do not allow things that have wool be able to be imported into the country. Well, if I have roving wool on my doll for hair, does that
yeah.
exclude them? So that's a
Well,
come.
one of our members who lives in Belgium said they just outlawed glitter in Belgium. You can't
Yeah.
buy glitter, you can't order glitter, you can't ship anything into Belgium that has glitter on it. Oh my
So,
goodness.
so how, yeah, so that's one of the kind of things like how does eBay get around that? Because I don't think eBay has been doing international very long because I've only been doing it for maybe the last year. And it seemed like that was only an option that just come up here, say in the last, oh, well, in this last year. So,
Yeah.
this is shipping to other countries. And the other thing is it's so frustrating because as she said, you have to take in the shipping cost. Well, I know for myself, I can not ever get things to go into Italy. They always get lost.
Oh,
My brother
oh,
lives there, and so 9 out of 10 times I can guarantee that at least 50% of whatever I ship to him gets lost. So, and I
oh
don't,
my
and
gosh.
oh yeah, and they don't guarantee that. I don't, I mean, because why should they?
Wow.
Because we are responsible as the shipper. So that's the reason, like I said,
Uh,
I didn't jump right in on their international offers either, just because I do think that is a higher risk of
well, on
trying
all
to
of
do
my
that.
online platforms, I hate to say it, and I hope our audience is non-judgmental, but I offer free shipping, but I add that shipping into the overall cost of the item.
Hmm.
So, I really just do it so that when I'm listing an item, regardless of what platform I'm listing it on, I can click that free shipping box. And that just kind of puts you up a little bit in the algorithms when people are searching for an item that has some of your data in it.
Hmm.
So, because sometimes people will filter out anything that's except for free shipping. They only want to see things that offer free shipping. So it is kind of a strategy that I use. But again, I don't ship internationally.
Okay, so now just for clarification, that's just in reference to your website, because otherwise eBay, I don't think you can get past their listing without listing how you're going to ship it, correct? I mean,
Whenever I list the item, there is
mhm,
a place there. There's a whole section there where you talk about
right,
shipping,
right,
and you can make it flat rate shipping that the buyer pays flat rate shipping, or you can put in more detailed and get the exact shipping based on where the buyer lives, etc. For me, I just click seller pays for shipping.
right.
Most things I know what it costs to ship it, and I just add that to the sale price.
Understanding the process of what I do versus what you're doing, because I
Mhm.
know, like for me, I use the flat rate option. So that
Mhm.
gets added on to whatever I'm selling. You're saying then that by you having the seller pay for the shipping, you let them know that there is no shipping then?
What I do is in my store, I have an item that costs $45. That
Hmm.
same item on eBay or on Etsy is going to cost $50.
Okay.
End of
So,
discussion.
and
And then the person buys it, they pay $50, I ship it to them. It's gonna cost me about $5 to ship it.
so when the seller basically needs to contact you for the shipping cost, then you just square it away with them at that time then.
I don't square anything. I just pay for shipping. If I lose money, I figure it's my own fault because I didn't
Oh,
charge enough for the item.
oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So, and
Uh-huh.
so eBay allows you to be able to not have anything inside it. I'm surprised. I guess I'll have to take a look again at that setup, because I did not realize there was a no shipping option on that. So,
Yes,
um,
there is. Yes, you do have to pay. Somebody has to pay for shipping,
mhm,
but
mhm.
you can specify that the seller will pay for shipping.
Right, exactly. Which in theory, the way you have it set up, they do.
Hmm.
And yeah, well, I guess, and so is mine, but they just automatically know what the rate is by what I've marked on the box. The other option is because I do have a note that in my products, if since some of them are small, like with my paints and stuff like that, if they want to
Yeah.
combine shipping, they can do that. So eBay does give you that option that you can also combine shipping, and people then can save shipping costs that way too.
Hmm.
I guess, what kind of experiences overall have you had? From the sounds of it, your experience on eBay is pretty positive then.
I've had good and bad. Most of the bad experiences I've had has been as a buyer, where I've purchased things and they didn't come, or it was defective or something like that. But that's been very minimal. eBay has always been very quick to resolve conflicts. Now, as a seller, I've never had any kind of even discussion with a customer about anything, certainly not anything negative. But I anticipate that if I did contact the seller first and see if you can work it out. I would totally anticipate that. And then I would expect eBay to look at, if they had to mediate, definitely lean towards the buyer
Well,
because that's where they make their money.
Well, I also had kind of a weird experience. I figured Gremlins had to be playing with this one because I had actually a sale on eBay, but the person that bought the item did no longer exist because I took it off my website and it should have sold off at eBay. So how this woman got a hold of this wig that I was selling to try to buy it again, it was kind of like I have not a clue because there's just no way it was available out there. But I had to write to her and tell her that, I would be willing to substitute something else or that it was no longer available. But as you said, that was where I had to get a hold of the buyer and let her know. But
Yeah.
it was kind of freaky. I do not know how she got a hold.
Yeah. Any platform I've ever used, the only time I had to actually go to um the platform itself as opposed to the seller, I believe it was on eBay, something I had bought, and it a couple of weeks went by and it still showed not shipped. So I contacted the seller a couple of times and they didn't respond. So then after you've done it and you get no response, then you can kind of up it to the admin people at eBay. And within 24 hours, they refunded my money. I've ever had a conflict when I didn't deal with the seller or the buyer directly.
Well, and that's just it because basically I just got a sale this week myself, and that's one thing is what they do is eBay will contact me, and that's the thing to keep in mind is part of your obligation as a seller is that you have 3 days to get that product into the mail.
Which I'm not sure if eBay does it, but like on Etsy, you can adjust that. So I have a lot of things that are made to order, and I have some things that are already made. So the things I have that are already made, if you buy them, I put on there that it will be in them shipped to you within 2 days. But if it's something I have to make, I put that it won't be shipped to you up to 10 days before it will be shipped to you. So you can adjust that in Etsy, but I'm not sure about eBay. I've never listed anything on eBay that wasn't already made.
Especially as a newbie person to eBay, I think that's definitely something to keep in mind because I know it's taken me quite a while to even still feel comfortable getting on eBay because I just feel like, oh my gosh, did I list this right? Did I keep everything in the right order? And
Yeah,
will they contact me and all that stuff that you don't want to have to be worrying about trying to negotiate time on a product on top of
right. And you want to be careful if you do make things that are made to order. You want to be careful you have it marked on the selling page. You want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time to create the item before you're required to ship it because eBay will be on that right away. As soon as that, if you put it's going to take 10 days before you ship it, on the 11th day, they're going to be notifying you saying, why haven't you shipped this item yet?
then starts going against you because if you get too many of
Yes.
those little flags, that doesn't
Yes.
help you at
Even
all.
if you, yes, correct. Even if you've been communicating with the customer and they know that it's taking you a while to make it and stuff, algorithms at eBay don't know that. So it's just an automatic trigger. So yeah, so you definitely want to be aware of those kind of things. Really read over your listing when you put all the information in there, and carefully to make sure you've got all the right boxes checked.
Well, and that would bring up another thing to keep in mind because if you did something like that, I think you also put yourself at a higher risk because a buyer can cancel still before it's shipped. And so, therefore, again, if they tried to do something as a commission like that, they did not put any down payment on it or anything. And so, if you make that product, you have a higher risk of having it being canceled versus if and that brings up the other point is that I was just reading about earlier too, is the fact that you can't be what they call, I think it's called retailing it, where you take maybe like an Amazon product that you're selling on Amazon, or you try to take it to Etsy or eBay and take it and try
Mhm.
to sell it again at eBay because you're trying to kind of like compete with yourself, I guess is what it sounds like.
Yes. Now, Amazon is very strict about that. If you list something on Amazon, you can't list it anywhere else. But I do have the same item listed on Etsy and on eBay. So I do cross over between those two, but it's mostly for my made to order items. Want to list a blue dragon on Amazon, it's got to be different. It's got to be blue dragon with gold spikes or something. So it's got to be
Okay,
a little bit different.
So you have listed things then on your eBay to where they can then be ordered, not where they're buying on hand and haven't had a problem with getting that out in time then, huh?
Correct. But I know exactly how long it takes me to make a dragon.
Mhm.
And I'm also not at any point in my career where I have a backlog. So that if you order a dragon from me today, I can start making it today.
Good to know for you, but maybe
Yeah,
others may need to keep that in mind because if
that's
you
right.
get sick, eBay is not going to care.
No, that's correct. That's correct. So, but you do, that's another thing, I might put right now on my dragon listing. Okay. This item ships is made to order and ships within 5 business days. But if I do get to a point where, gosh, you order a dragon, I can't even start making it for a month from now. Okay. So I would need to adjust that, right? Yeah. So you have to, keep up with those kind of things.
Mhm. Well, and that's what it kind of brings back to is, as you're saying, is it worth to sell on eBay? And that's what they're saying is for the success and profitability, it is. But again, as you mentioned earlier too, it depends largely on how you find your perfect niche, your
Yeah.
pricing strategy, because that brings in the bidding. Because I even know that once in a while when something I have sold, because you put it out there for like, I usually list mine for like 10 days and then it's got to get
Hmm.
relisted. And that's
Yeah.
where eBay will come back and say, well, if you lower it $1, it may be sold better. And
Yes.
it's your choice. But that's again, if you want to lower it to really truly sell it, that's maybe what you have to do. But
Hmm.
I do know that not everybody has had a good experience because that's what Sheree Davison said. She was not a happy camper. And when I asked her about eBay, because she said no emphatically, she is not on eBay. She said that apparently her account got hacked and
Yeah.
and they took the hacker's side because in spite of all the years of documentation, she lost hundreds of ratings and reviews and years of building a solid reputation. So she totally lost confidence in them, so she won't use them. I think it does happen,
Yes.
but
I think
again,
anything you use, anything on the internet that you use, there are going to be bad experiences. But it's like in sales, you have to look at the numbers. Out of 10,000 people, maybe 5 had a really bad experience. Maybe those 5 were like horrendous enough for you to go, no, I'm not going to do that. But then
exactly.
again, it's such a rare occurrence.
Well, and the sad part about it is that we still need them, I guess you could say, a little bit more than they need us, because we do need,
Always.
yeah, we do need the multiple media platforms. I mean, that's the sad part. You can't really
Yeah.
just go to one place anymore and expect to be seen. You just can't have a website up
No.
and expect it to get the traffic.
No,
So
and I just don't think we can, as a society, we can get by without those things right now anymore.
yeah, exactly. I don't know about you, but it just seems like right now, other social media platforms are kind of in a slump. I know, like Facebook feels like it's a slump right now. I know Pinterest is totally off the board for whatever it used to be like. So that's a come like I said, when you can list on something like this without it
Yeah,
even costing you money, then I think it's worth a gamble.
I've been around the internet for a long time. I was never able to get traction on Facebook as far as selling things. Pinterest, I have never, ever made any contact with a customer on Pinterest. For sales, Etsy, eBay, Amazon.
And that's good to know. So if they really truly want to know more about eBay, they should go check out the eBay site because eBay does definitely have all of this information that we talked about. They're available.
Oh my goodness. I think I probably sing the praises of YouTube every time we talk, but there's 50 gazillion YouTubes on how to be successful on eBay. So go watch some of those as well. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're already on YouTube, so just check it out.
Sounds like a good idea there, Bambi. Please join us on our Facebook page or visit our website, which is listed in the comment below. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think that one kind of wraps it up then, huh, right, Bambi?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Also, know that we will be having an article more about this in our magazine that will be coming out in April as well if you want to learn more about the eBay through
Yes,
us.
and definitely let us know in the comments how you feel about eBay, either as a buyer or a seller.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Bye.